Hello everybody, welcome back to Way of the Hunter. Today we got our first update since the initial day one patch and obviously since the PS4 fix for the save game corrupting at the 50th or 51st harvest. Since those updates, this is the first major bug fixing and tuning update they've released. And there's actually quite a lot of good stuff in here that is really nice to see. So let's go ahead and get into it. The very first thing that they list is they fixed the disappearing blood tracks partially. They're still working on a full fix to completely get rid of that bug, but they've at least partially fixed it to where it should happen less often. They also added the ability to change key bindings, which is noted that it's a work in progress and that localized characters do not show up in tutorials/encyclopedia. Added the Fov Slider to the game options menu, which was a massive request from pretty much everybody, including myself. So that's really good to see that they've already got it in the game. They also added ultra widescreen support, which was a massive, turnoff for a lot of people that do have widescreen monitors that wanted the ability to play the game in that mode, and it just didn't support it before, but now it does, which is amazing. They also reduced the blur of Hunter Sense, which is good, because I did see a lot of people saying that it made them sick to be sitting in the Hunter Sense all the time with all that extra blur, and I can totally understand that. It didn't bug me too much personally, but I'm very happy they reduced it, as it was kind of distracting at times. So it says they fixed the clipping of player/firearms during movement, which is a good little fix for just immersion purposes. They also have reduced the volume of lake sounds and wind sounds, which is another great fix. I felt like they were way too loud, even when I would turn the volume all the way down to 15 or 20%, it was still incredibly loud, which to me, it kind of took away from the whole feel of the game, as it made it hard to listen for footsteps. It made it hard to hear pretty much anything else in the game, because the sound of the lakes when you would go to the swamps would always just completely overshadow everything else. And it's nice to see that they are reducing that, as well as the wind sound. Next, it says they have tuned the sleep spamming so you can no longer just spam time resets in order to advance the animal age. And to be honest, I didn't even know that that was really a thing until recently. I had always thought that you had to play the game a certain amount of time, and then the time reset was just kind of advancing the time that you had spent playing. And I just assumed that it was based on how long you had played, how far ahead a time reset would age the animal. But it seems like you could just spam them, and now that's actually no longer a thing, so that's good to see. Because one of the things I was really worried about was that 5 stars would become too easy to get because of this mechanic, and it looks like since that's fixed now, it might be a little bit harder to get those 5 stars because it's going to take much longer for them to age. They have also tuned the Explorer difficulty to make it so that animals don't spook as quickly, and they also added more blood to streamline the tracking in the lowest difficulty, which is going to be a lot more helpful to people that don't necessarily want the super hardcore, difficult gameplay that some of the higher difficulties offer you. Next on the list is they have tuned the sell prices of meat. I'm not exactly sure to what extent, but apparently they've tuned it. It also says that they have fixed one of the missions called Riddle Me This Part 3. It was supposedly blocking progress if the player dies during the walkie-talkie dialogue, so it's good that that's fixed. I imagine that was probably a pretty annoying thing to have happen if you were somebody that ran into that bug. They've also decreased the photo mode boundaries in Ranger difficulty, or I guess increased the boundaries is a better way to put it. Basically, you can't use the photo mode as much in Ranger difficulty, which makes sense. This was a suggestion a lot of people, including myself, had, that to kind of combat the, ability to use the photo mode to find animals, since there were some people that were upset about that they could just make it so that in Ranger difficulty you had much more limited movement with the photo mode. That way, if you wanted it so that people couldn't do that, you could just play in Ranger. If you didn't really care if people abuse the photo mode, you could just play in Adventurer or one of the lower difficulties. So I'm glad they did that. It makes it so you can still have the super hardcore experience if you want, and then others can play on the lower difficulties if they want a little bit more relaxing experience. They've also fixed the animation of the Styre monoblock, which I didn't even know was bugged, so I guess I'm interested to see what that looks like now. It says that they have added a clipping mask for blur. I have no idea what that is, but apparently they've added it. They've also made some visual improvements to the vital organs in the bullet camera, improved and optimized the save files, which I'm assuming will help reduce some of the issues with save file corruption. They also fixed a rare crash connected with animal signs interaction. I'm pretty sure I've had that one a couple times, so that's nice to see that fixed. We've got the fix for improper synchronization of animal trophies and parameters in multiplayer. Very needed fix, as multiplayer has been pretty rough. They have tuned and improved the synchronization of characters in multiplayer. That's another great fix. Multiplayer is probably the weakest point of the game at the moment. It's very buggy and desynchronized in pretty much every server you go into, so it's nice to see that they are adding some fixes to help that a little bit. They have made it so that climbing ladders no longer corrupts the animations, which I don't know what that means. I'm assuming that maybe it was just making some animations not look the right way. I guess we'll find out. And then the last thing is that they have fixed the weather synchronization in multiplayer, so players will no longer have different types of weather in the same server. It should be synced up between everybody. And that's going to be it for all of these patch notes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments if it helped you out, and also let me know what fixes and additions with this update you think are the most important and the ones that you're most excited for. With that being said, thank you all for watching. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, click that like button, ring that notification bell, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace!